Welcome everyone to this exploration of Ethereum mining. It's like unlocking the secrets of cryptocurrency mining, right?
Absolutely. It's a fascinating topic. So how does the process even begin for Ethereum mining?
Well, the mining process for Ether is all about solving super complex mathematical puzzles, a process known as proof
Yep.
of work. Miners utilize their computing power to crack these puzzles, which verifies transactions and keeps the network secure.
Right, and mining also creates new Ether tokens as rewards, correct?
Exactly. Every time a miner successfully solves a puzzle, they receive a block reward in Ether plus transaction fees, which, although a smaller piece, can add up especially in booming times.
That sounds like a really energized system. But how do these puzzles, the hashes, actually work?
It's like you have this encrypted piece of data called a hash. It's like a digital fingerprint. The idea is that once you modify even a tiny piece of input data, the resulting hash is completely different. And for proof of work, miners need to find an input that produces a hash fitting a specific pattern defined by a difficulty parameter.
And that difficulty parameter is regulated to control how much energy is used, right?
Yes, exactly. By adjusting difficulty, the network ensures miners must expend a lot of computational power and energy to reach that valid hash, effectively protecting the network from malicious takeover attempts.
Now, about making money. Mining isn't just a hobby, it's potentially profitable. How does that work?
Well, profitability in mining largely depends on electricity costs. Miners need their electricity to be really cheap, ideally under 0.12 per kilowatt hour. And if you can get below 0.06, then mining becomes far more attractive financially.
I like that explanation. It really highlights the practical challenges of mining at home.
Absolutely, especially because in developed areas, electricity may run at $0.20 per kilowatt hours, which would make it tough to recoup your investment.
Speaking of investment, what about the initial hardware? I know GPUs are a popular choice for Ethereum mining.
Yes, correct. Ethereum was actually designed to be mined with consumer graphics cards from AMD and Nvidia, which is one reason why it's more accessible compared to Bitcoin, where ASICs dominate.
But isn't it true that ASICs and FPGAs also play a role in Ethereum mining?
They do, but with some trade-offs. ASICs for Ethereum, like the A10 Pro, are energy efficient but offer less flexibility since they're typically locked to mining a few specific coins. GPUs, on the other hand, can mine multiple cryptocurrencies and even be resold later or used for gaming PCs. As for FPGAs, they're a middle ground, but more complex and often not cost-effective compared to GPUs.
That makes sense, especially for hobbyist miners, right?
Precisely. Hobbyists usually opt for GPUs because of their balance between hash rate, energy consumption, and overall cost efficiency. And you can even look into second-hand options like an AMD RX Vega 64 or NVIDIA GTX 1060, though there's some risk with older hardware.
Interesting point about risks. There's also the factor of hardware wear and tear over time, isn't there?
Right. While GPUs are known to be quite resilient, they will eventually show wear. However, many reports suggest they can mine continuously for 5 years or more before performance really dips. But the biggest challenge is keeping up as newer, more efficient models hit the market.
And yet, the payback period becomes a critical measure, doesn't it?
Exactly. It's all about how long it takes for the mining rig to pay for itself. For instance, if you have a miner that costs $3,000 and earns around $200 a month in revenue, given low electricity costs, it could break even in less than 2 years. But higher energy costs could stretch that payback window to over a decade.
Wow. That really puts things into perspective when considering the investment versus the returns.
Definitely, and that's why professional miners often move their operations to regions with cheaper electricity or secure special industrial rates.
There's also a mention of using mining rigs as a form of home heating, isn't there?
Yes, that's a clever twist. Mining transforms electricity into not only cryptocurrency, but also heat, which can be beneficial in colder climates.
Right.
It's like turning a cost into a semi-benefit, although it rarely offsets all the expenses.
Speaking of expenses, what about the setup requirements? I imagine mining isn't just plug and play.
Correct. A proper mining rig generally needs a robust motherboard that can support multiple GPUs, sometimes up to 14 really. It also requires significant memory, Each GPU needs at least 6 GB to handle Ethereum's growing DAG. And let's not forget the cooling and power supply units, which are critical to prevent overheating and electrical hazards.
That brings us to the safety aspects. Constant high energy usage sounds risky. What precautions are recommended?
Safety is paramount. Mining rigs draw a lot of power, so one must ensure that the domestic electrical grid and wiring are up to code. Overloading sockets can cause overheating, leading to fire hazards. It's highly recommended to invest in high-quality power supply units and consult with experts to evaluate your setup.
It sounds like establishing a mining operation requires a good blend of technical know-how and careful planning.
Absolutely. And one must also choose the right operating system. Windows is popular, but Linux offers some advantages too, even if it means more command line interactions. Plus, regular maintenance is essential. Dust builds up and can affect performance and safety.
So with so many factors involved, hardware, electricity, maintenance, profitability, it really feels like Ethereum mining isn't for the faint of heart.
True, but for those with the right setup in areas with low electricity costs, mining can be a rewarding way to earn Ether and actively contribute to network security.
I appreciate that balance. You get the potential profits and the community benefit, though. It does carry its risks.
Exactly. And one must be cautious about relying solely on mining for income. The market is volatile, and factors like the transition to proof of stake in Ethereum 2.0 are always looming. Even though POW mining is expected to continue well into the near future, the long-term outlook might shift, so miners need to be agile.
That's a solid point. It almost seems like a strategic bet. Invest in mining now while you can, but be prepared for changes in the ecosystem.
Absolutely, it's a calculated risk. And despite uncertainty in Ethereum's roadmap, most estimates suggest miners still have ample time to recoup their investments before a complete transition to POS kicks in.
One question, though. Don't you think the ecological concerns about energy consumption could also challenge Ethereum mining's future?
That's a valid critique. The energy consumption is undeniably high, and with growing concerns about sustainability, it's a debate that's going to intensify as more countries push for greener tech. Many supporters argue that the move to POS is exactly in response to those concerns by drastically lowering energy use. But until then, miners have to navigate this energy cost versus profit balance.
It really is a balancing act. Tech advancement, economic feasibility, and environmental considerations all at play.
Exactly. And that's what makes Ethereum mining so intellectually stimulating. It's like a puzzle within a puzzle, requiring constant reevaluation of strategy and conditions.
And that dynamism keeps the community engaged, encouraging innovation and strategic planning.
You nailed it. Whether you're a hobbyist or a professional, diving into Ethereum mining involves continuous learning, not just about hardware specifics, but also about market trends and future technological transitions.
Right on. Really a multi-dimensional pursuit. So, to wrap up our chat, would you say Ethereum mining is more than just a way to earn cryptocurrency?
Definitely. It's a blend of technology, economics, and even community service. Miners contribute to the decentralization and security of the network, while also engaging in a financially risky but potentially rewarding game of numbers.
That's truly enlightening. It's like each miner is a small part of a global puzzle, helping secure our digital future.
Absolutely. Every hash counts, and every miner plays a role in the grand scheme. Thanks for this deep dive into Ethereum mining. It's been a dynamic exploration of numbers and human ingenuity.
I totally agree. This discussion really opened up the layers of complexity behind what seems like a simple computer process. Thanks for sharing all those insights. And to everyone listening, keep questioning, keep exploring.